Lega Serie A presents Serie A Tim.
Buonasera. I hope I really got that correctly. This is still the match live here on StarTimes World Football Channel as we continue our live football coverage across the world. And this time we take a very short trip to Italia, the Italian Serie, where the top league leaders, their Juventus, welcome struggling Empoli to the J Stadium in what promises to be a tall order for the visitors and, of course, the champions wanting to seal all 3 points. My name is Janine and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with Larrie Penniel, who joins me for the first time. Usually on the show, Larry, we become bearing gifts. So where's your gift?
You get it after the game if Juventus wins.
It's good to have you, Larry.
Same here.
What are your expectations so far?
My expectations are that Juventus will continue in the stride that they have pursued this season. Remember that they're on 3 fronts: Coppa Italia, they're in the Champions League, and as well leading the Serie A. So expectations are that it may be very, very difficult, as you've mentioned, that Empoli will get something from this game. But it's football. You never know. Now
the Bianconeris are hoping to make this 2 wins on a bounce in just a couple of days, 3 days to be precise, after that 2-0 demolition away at Porto, and they're hoping that they can make it another win as well. And the bad news for another title contender, Napoli, losing 2-0 scandalously at home to Atalanta, which means the top of the table, Juventus can go 10 points clear, which is huge for an Empoli side, Larry, that are really, really struggling, have only picked up 2 points against Juventus in the last 13 games. You know, those kind of games where, or those kind of seasons where you look at 40 points you need to survive, just take out 6 and say Juventus, let me give it to you.
You're very correct. You're very correct. They've not been very good this season. Talking about Empoli, what has been going for them is that the 3 teams behind them have been very poor, or poorer than they are. So Pescara, Palermo have been poorer than, and Crotone have been poorer than Empoli at the moment. They've scored just 15 goals. The whole team, that is lesser than Higuain, top scorer for Juventus, who has 19 goals. So if your whole team is responsible for just 15 goals, you shudder to think what will happen in this game. As you've mentioned, just 2 points in the last 13. I don't see them adding to that today.
Do you think Empoli really are struggling, having let go of Daniel Rogani to Juventus, Zielinski to Napoli? Do you think having these key core players leave, and knowing that Empoli have had top players like Luca Toni, their ranks, do you think that is making them really struggle this season, or they just have the ambitions of let's just survive?
They're the architects of their own misfortune, so to speak. They even allowed Claudio Marchisio to go at some point, so Claudio Marchisio may likely play against them today. They have struggled. Last season, they were able to maintain mid-table 10th position because of 2 major people, Massimo Maccaroni, who had 10 goals for them last season, and a certain Daniel Saparona, who is on loan at Fiorentina this season. He had 9 assists, and those 2 guys are not going to play today. So it then tells you that Empoli, perhaps what they just have to do this season is to try to keep their heads above water and see if they can avoid relegation and then build up from there.
Now let's look a lot critically at Juventus. Not only have they spotted a new brand logo, they've spotted a new look team that have moved from a devastating 3-5-2 to a flying 4-2-3-1. Now this 4-2-3-1 makes them score goals for fun, looking like the complete side. What exactly could make them drop in this game against Empoli?
See, Massimiliano Allegri is a genius. You have to give it to him. Everything he has tried so far has been working. He can play 3-5-2 based on the opposition's strength. He can play 4-4-2. He can play 4-2-3-1, as you've mentioned. In today's game, I reckon he's going to play 4-4-2 and rest a couple of the stars who played against Porto in midweek. Remember that they have a Coppa Italia game against Napoli on Tuesday. So with an eye on the game, I guess he will give the likes of Daniel Alves an opportunity to play, Kwadwo Asamoah if possible, and the rest of them. So you would expect that Allegri's team will win this. 1, they're home. 2, they don't concede a lot of goals, and they have scorers in Higuain and Dybala. And
to know exactly how Juventus have fared, as well as Empoli's form, we'll be throwing you to the highlights on how exactly these 2 teams fared last week.
Hello and welcome to Cagliari, round 24 of the Serie A Tim. Cagliari versus Juventus, the Sunday evening match. I'm Patrick Taroni.
And I'm Sheridan Bird.
Well, it is the home side, Cagliari, playing in their home kit, as you can see, the red and blue, who get the game underway. Here we go then, Bruno Alves.
There you saw it, highlights from these two teams, and we can see right there on our screen by the side that the players are getting ready to make it a game. And we'll see you at the end of the first 45. Juventus taking on Empoli.
30th match, looking for a 30th consecutive win in Serie A at their home ground. Empoli have never won against the Bianconeri in Turin. In fact, they've only scored in 3 of the 10 matches in which they've visited here. The odds stacked against the Tuscans, as Juventus on a high after their Champions League victory against Porto ring the changes, but the quality remains as ever high. Neto is in goal, with a back four of Dani Alves, Rugani and Bonucci, with Alexandro. Or Bonucci and Rugani quite happy to change positions, but the scoreline doesn't change at half-time. Juventus 0, Empoli 0. Decent chances falling to Mandzukic, unable to take any of them. Join me again for the second half after the break.
Well, it ends after the first 45, 0-0 at the J Stadium between Juventus and Empoli after a rather tepid display from the two sides. But then again, I'll be talking more on what exactly transpired after we take a short breather. We'll be right back.
Lega Serie A presents Serie A Tim.
In life, there are 2 types of people, those who win and those who don't. They call me Papa No Story because I like to win every time. With just one ticket like me, you stand a chance of winning millions of naira. Enjoy guaranteed prompt payment on all winnings. No hidden charges, no story. Bet Naija, reward for passion.
Instant bet at allstar.com. Best odds at allstar.com. Claim your free bet. allstar.com, from zero to hero. allstar.com.
Lega Serie A presents Serie A Tim.
Welcome back to the Match Live here on StarTimes World Football Channel. And remember, you can be a part of the excitement here in the studio by watching religiously. Yes, we have lots of giveaways to start off in March. And if you watch, you can, of course, get the teasers and get to win on the show. Also, in March, we have the Euros World Cup qualifiers. You definitely don't want to miss that. You have some of your favorite teams on display, so you definitely want to be a part of that. But then what we have on the plate is the Serie A between Juventus and Empoli, where you would expect, Larry, that champions would strut to the field, get to win a lowly placed Empoli, 17th, by the way, on the league. But at the end of the first half, 0-0, and we probably dozed off through the first half, didn't we?
Yeah, nearly. We nearly dozed off. You're correct. Apart from a few chances here and there, Juventus have not created the opportunities they need. You can excuse them. You can excuse them. They've rested 6 of the players. They have the Napoli game against in the Coppa Italia on Tuesday in mind, and they've banked, so to speak, or rested 6 players that played against Porto. You could also argue that, well, they're leading with 7 points, although they have an opportunity of extending it to 10, but they're not taking it today, and they've not created the chances. Diabala is missing, and so many other key players.
And what's really key for Juventus so far is how they've been able to keep it compact with different formations. But then again, the stats will be coming your way. We'll see how exactly they fared in the first half. Look at those numbers. One shot on goal, and that definitely was that Higuain chance as early as the first minute. After that, they went off the radar. Haven't had great possession, just about 15 part of that possession as well. Look at that important start there, Larrie. 18 lost balls.
This is not Juventus. Sami Khedira is not playing. So you can
you
argue.
mentioned they've rested these players, but they have enough quality. If you rest 5 or 6 of your key players, they have enough quality against an Empoli side that cannot win in Turin.
You saw players like Cuadrado, player like Sturaro losing balls, and that explains the ball losses. And Sami Khedira, as I said, is a very instrumental player, particularly shielding the back four and retrieving lost balls. Well, having said that, still, you mentioned the fact that Juventus quality should be able to thrash Empoli anytime, any day. But they've not been playing as a team collectively.
And that's just the glimmer of hope for Empoli there. El Qadri of Morocco, he's a Moroccan international. Having lots, when exactly they lose those balls, he was in the right position. But then again, that's why they're Empoli and they're in 17th place. They can't quite finish those balls. But those are the chances that you think Empoli do have that can hurt Juventus.
You're very correct. For all of El Qadri's gift, he hasn't scored any goal this season, but his coach has always kept faith in him. Moroccan international, as you mentioned, he is very good, very deft on the ball. He's more renowned for assists than scoring goals. He could have taken his opportunity there.
And then 2 key players playing behind Gonzalo Higuain in Mario Mandzukic and of course Sturaro really missing in the build-up. What exactly can they do to get more involved and get Gonzalo Higuain back in the game?
They should have been 1-0 up. Did that opportunity that Mandzukic actually had, a one-on-one with the goalkeeper? He tried to round the goalkeeper, go round him, and then play the ball, but it was too late. The defenders, particularly Belushi and Andrea Costa, the central defenders, kept it tidy, and they have been trying their best. See, this is working according to plan for Empoli. It is exactly what they want.
There you mentioned the missed chance. Mario Mandzukic in Bayern Munich will be bearing that chance. What's going on now?
You're very correct. Maybe low on confidence. He has 5 goals. Compare that
low on confidence against Empoli.
No,
wow.
no, look at it. He's got just 5 goals. He's been in and out of the team. Last week he didn't play because of suspension. He's just back into the team now, although he played against Porto. But look at him. He has 5 goals. The next, Higuain has 19. So there's already like 14 goals in between himself and Higuain. I guess what he's supposed to do, or in Allegri's reckoning, is to act as support for Higuain. Bring down those balls and then give to... Look at this one-on-one. He tried to go around the goalkeeper, wasted time.
That is the asset there. Very, very important. After that tackle, the black player there, he had to hold his calf because that was indeed really important. Look at how all the Empoli players had to crowd. Good work from the goalkeeper. They made the space so tight, and then all of the players were able to retrieve the ball. But that's really been Empoli so far.
That's been
very committed to defending.
You're right.
But not taking any chances they're provided.
They will they get a lot of chances? They will get chances maybe on the break. The black player is Asane Diose, is Senegalese, and you saw that last dig tackle there. What they've been trying to do is to keep it tight. If they don't score, and they know they will not get too many goals anyway, 15 goals all through the season. If they don't score, let Juventus not score. And on what I've seen, on the evidence of what I've seen, I will not bet against a 0-0 draw. Out of their 7 draws this season, Empoli, 6 have been 0-0, goalless draws. So it may play to script.
But what Larry doesn't know is that Juventus haven't drawn a game this season in the Serie. I don't know how that is going to pan out, but could you also look at Juventus looking at the midweek Coppa Italia game against Napoli? First off, if you missed it, Napoli did lose at home scandalously to Atalanta, even though you think Atalanta are in 4th place. They will play Napoli on Tuesday in the Coppa Italia. Could that also be a reason why they've rested the players, or the players are just making it a little lukewarm, a little unenthused in this match?
These are the sort of games that a lot of players have to stand up, particularly the Sturaros and those who don't normally get games, okay? Pjanic as well, or the free kick earlier. But as you've mentioned, players have been put on the bench, and the coach has an eye on that game. They have a healthy lead at the top of the table, although that could change in 3-4 games. especially if they lose points today. You've mentioned that Juventus don't normally lose points. You still expect that they will go ahead and pick up a nervy 1-0 victory, because the last time they played at this particular stadium against Empoli, it was 1-0 last season, just 1-0. So give or take, Juventus are still favourites, particularly looking at the quality of what's on the bench. So if Allegri decides.
Okay, so Coach Larrie, if we really need to get a couple of, because they need to finish this off. Remember, they have the opportunity to go 10 points clear off Roma with a game in hand. But if they really need to sprinkle some quality from the bench, when you look at Buffon is on the bench, we can't be bringing him in this one. Who exactly should we come in to marshal and, of course, create the outlet for Gonzalo Higuain?
Straight up, Paulo Dybala. Fantastic game he had last weekend against
Palermo.
That guy is fantastic. He scored a lovely free kick last time out.
Which we've been talking about.
And he also had a great goal created by Higuain, a back heel. So he scored 2 goals and created 1 assist as well. He is missing in this game. So you're saying
Higuain needs a partner?
Definitely. Higuain thrives. You know Higuain. You know Higuain.
I'm hoping to visit him soon.
He's a poacher. He is not your typical, he's not your typical Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo who runs out of the box, or in Serie terms, your typical Edin Dzeko. He is more of a box 6 kind of player. Maybe your Inzaghi of old. And he thrives on you giving him something on a plate so that he can bury. And he's not received services today. So hopefully Allegri will realize this and then make the changes.
Something that was quite critical in the game that I noticed is the body language of Bonucci. And now we've known that he's had a bit of spats with the coach. Is his future still enduring as it stands?
Right now, based on what I saw against Porto, he didn't start against in Porto. The coach opted to start Lichtsteiner, Bazzagli, and Chiellini. So Alexandro played from the left-hand side. From what I think, they may look to cash in on him at the moment.
And your final score at the end of the game?
Maybe a 1-0. But I'm hoping Empoli can get that goal against run of play and then make it more interesting for Juventus and the title race.
We'll definitely see how that pans out as we go straight to the J Stadium. Juventus taking on Empoli. We'll see you after the second 45.
Denies Higuain a goal, but Skorupski does not deny Juventus another win. There goes the final whistle. Juve with 2 goals in the second half, ease past Empoli. The goals coming from a Mandzukic header off the crossbar, bounced in by Skorupski, and then Alexandro added a second on 65 minutes. Juventus make it 14 out of 14 at home. They march on to 66 points. Empoli, a 3rd defeat in succession. It's all from Paul Visca. It's all from the J Stadium with a final score once again. Juventus 2, Empoli 0. Thank you and good night.
I mean, don't we all love to be like Juventus? Even when you don't turn up at the J Stadium, just show up and you can defeat Empoli by 2-0, because that's exactly what happened after the end of the 90s. Juventus 10 points clear at the top of the table, defeating the visiting side Empoli by 2-0. And Larry's still here with me. Larry, same old story. When do we ever change the script?
Very difficult to change the script when Juventus is involved. First half, they didn't bring anything to the table. Even second half, they didn't play so fantastically. And still, they kept a clean sheet, scored 2 goals.
And goals by Lukasz Skorupski. That player, it was even an own goal in the first place. And of course, Alexandro scoring in the 65th minute. And with the way those goals came in, 30 minutes apart, with the first one being an own goal, it showed that Juventus really didn't even need to leave any sort of gear, and Empoli just pretty much dashed them that win.
You're right. When you're playing the best defense in Italy at the moment, which is Juventus, versus the worst attack, only one outcome is certain, and that's a Juventus win. For the first goal, Mandzukic header, unfortunately for the goalkeeper, came off the crossbar and his body and then went in. But for the second one, fantastic goal by Alexandro. Took it very well with left leg and 2-0.
And despite the fact that Empoli lost this game away, they will not be moving places. They still remain in 17th place. And the next team just behind them, Palermo, no matter what they get, they can't get 6 points. Definitely 3 points can't still get them to 17th. And maybe, in a way, Larry, that's what they're playing at. Like, you know, we're safe. We're 8 points above the very bad teams. We're not going anywhere. So let's give Juventus the 6 points. Should that be the mentality of a club?
That's not the mentality. I thought they were trying to play for a draw and then try to cut Juventus on the counter. Juventus didn't particularly bring so much to the table today. The first goal, as I mentioned, was a cross from Cuadrado, and Mandzukic was on the end of it. Vintage Mandzukic, the Mandzukic you will see in Bayern, as you mentioned, Atletico Madrid, and he tried his best to make the goalkeeper work, and he did work, and it came off him, unfortunately. And then the second goal, also Alexandro in the right place at the right time, left back, given the license to go forward, just as Allegri has instructed, and got a beautiful goal. So for me, Juventus don't even need to play well. They don't need to get into the second gear to win this kind of games. And now they are 10 points clear, so they can leave the league and focus on Coppa Italia and Champions League.
Which lots of the players are mentioning. Sami Khedira, especially during the week, saying that he has that feeling. Of course he's going to have the feeling. He's won a Champions League before. And he says he has that feeling that Juventus are in the right place and their head is also in the right place. Do you second that?
I really second that. And you know Allegri made a statement in the week. When he had that tiff with Bonucci, he benched him. And that will have sent a clear message that whoever you are in this team, Allegri is the boss. So he has laid the markers for how it should be. He restored him into the team today and gave Bazzaglia and Chiellini the deserved rest. As it stands, Juventus are up there with Bayern Munich, Real Madrid and Barcelona. No, PSG.
That was a very tricky move there. But then again, we're talking more of the game and, of course, other games to be coming your way soon after we take this short breather. We'll be right back.
Lega Serie A presents Serie A Tim.
In life, there are two types of people. Those who win and those who don't. They call me Papa No Story because I like to win every time. With just one ticket like me, you stand a chance of winning millions of naira. Enjoy guaranteed prompt payment on all winnings. No hidden charges, no story. Bet Naija, reward for passion.
Lega Serie A presents Serie A Tim.
Welcome back. It's still the Match Live here on StarTimes World Football Channel. And in case you missed, if you're just joining us, well, not too late. We just saw in the Serie A, Juventus at home defeating Empoli by 2-0. And believe it or not, they are 10 points clear off the next team on the log, which is Roma, 10 points clear on 66 points. And Larry, at this point in time, you did mention that maybe they should wrap up the Serie A, take their bags, go to Europe, and try and win the Champions League. Is this wrapped?
That has to be. It's almost wrapped. 10 points clear. They've played 26 games now, just 12 remaining. And
they
others
easily pick up 30 points from 12.
You're correct. You're correct. And the others are not even doing so well. You mentioned the fact that Napoli lost to Atalanta criminally and other teams. And Inter will be playing Roma, if I'm correct, tomorrow or thereabouts. So they will lose points between those two, second and fourth. So it just bodes well for Juventus. And they, as I mentioned, they're playing with a second-string team and they're still grinding out results without conceding. Buffon didn't even play. So many other players didn't even play. So it's hard to find a weakness in this Juventus team.
But isn't this what we complain time and time again, that Juventus had one style, they had Pogba, they had Pirlo, he moved. Isn't this what we wanted from Juventus, that, they can close their eyes, go to nap with second-string team, a first-string team, and they will always win games?
Credit to Director of Football Pavel Nedved, credit to Massimiliano Allegri. They have always regenerated Juventus. And you mentioned Pirlo and Pogba has gone, but we didn't really feel their absence, particularly in the last two games. They scored 4 last time out, they scored 2 today. It just tells you that it's like a constant chain, like a wheel. Work is in progress. Players in, players out. Same team.
And of course, those 2 goals came in the second half. We'll be going straight to the highlights on how exactly Juventus fared in that one. It was a cagey first half, like we did establish. Nothing much from the team. Empoli doing so much to stifle Juventus. But then chances came. Juventus being Juventus, taking them and getting on the score sheet.
You're very correct. This was a move in the first half where Mandzukic got a tad late to the ball.
He should not be paid his wages for that. For me to know, he should not
but
be
he
paid.
might have made up for it. He made up for it in the second half. Look at Mandzukic again. Bury your ball, first time chance. He tried to go around the goalkeeper.
Credit to the goalkeeper. He tightened that angle and it wasn't really easy to get a shot away.
You're very correct. So Mandzukic culprit. He could have had a hat-trick in this game if he really, really wanted. Higuain didn't get all the service he wanted.
If Higuain didn't get a goal, you wanted Mandzukic to get a hat-trick, really?
On the evidence of the chances he missed, I thought he could have got at least a brace. But it wasn't to be. But for me, Empoli didn't particularly play too well. You don't blame them. Creativity, not so much in the team.
By the way, they are the team with the lowest shots in the league. I mean, you have 26 games played, and then look at that goal there from Juventus. Mandzukic really celebrating the goal, but really it hasn't been credited to him anymore.
It has not been credited to him, but you have to credit that bullet header. But by the time the ball was coming back and dropping, and it dropped on the goalkeeper and went in, and that's what I thought they looked at. You can see it there, and that's why the own goal by Skorupski, the goalkeeper, the Polish goalkeeper of Juventus. But this goal, Alexandro, fantastic turn, left leg.
Which is quite a shocker for me because he had a blinder in the first half. They had about 18 lost balls. I'm sure he contributed 12. But for your left back to be so comfortable at ease, take a turn and score against a left back for Empoli, that must be totally shambolic.
You're correct. He took his chance very well on the turn and then took a lovely left shot in that to the other side of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper didn't see that coming. One thing Alexandro offers is that he balances the defense when Allegri needs to play four-man defense. So he is the left option. They normally play their BBC, Bonucci, Bazzagli, Chiellini. So Alexandro offers the other.
Real Madrid fans will not be happy with that name.
So I tell you, he is an option, and the coach Allegri will be looking at Alexandro, in subsequent games if he needs to play four-man defense.
And seeing how we were scraping to get moments in that game, one particular moment absolutely stood out for us, and it will be on your screen. I probably don't want to let it out, but oh well, there it is. That move, Alessandro, one touch, take a turn. That defender should also not get paid, but fantastic goal from the left back in the 65th minute. When players put their thumb in their mouth,
it
like
means
they have a baby on
the wife is pregnant, you have a toddler who's always disturbing you, or your child is in the stadium or something. It's connected to a child though. So second of the thumb, second of the thumb. Or when you pick the ball from the net and then you put it underneath your jersey, sort of, so your wife is expectant or she just put to bed. So I love footballers who
people, that's what you get to enjoy on the Match Live. Not only do we give you football, we also give you maternity stories. Anyways, remember, you can join in the fun and action on the Match Live. We'll be having our giveaways from Match. Like I did mention, you have to watch religiously, which means you can't take your eyes off the screen, as we'll be giving bumper giveaways in March. Also on your screen from March, between the 24th of March and the 26th of March, the Euros World Cup qualifiers. Your best teams in Europe will be on display. And the Match Live here on StarTimes World Football Channel will be giving you the very best of those qualifiers. And they are top table teams, so not to worry, the very best of action in that one. And we quickly move to other games that will be on display from tomorrow. We also have Inter Milan, 5th place Inter Milan taking on 2nd place Roma as well, and 12th place Schalke taking on 4th place Hoffenheim. But before we get into that, we did mention earlier today that Napoli, who should be a title contender, absolutely should be a title contender, losing at home to Atalanta. Now, it makes that Coppa Italia game on Tuesday all the more exciting.
You're very correct. No one saw that. No one saw Napoli losing at home to Atalanta, apart from Atalanta fans that traveled for that game. Having said that, Napoli will be kicking themselves in the foot. They need to come back into this. But it puts it on a very good pedestal for that game on Tuesday. Napoli will be seething with rage from that loss to Atalanta and then try to come back against Juventus. And it's a perfect platform for them to respond positively. And they have the players. I mean, one of their best players at the moment is Dres Mertens on 16 goals. And he'll be competing against Higuain, who we just saw 19 goals in the league. So it bodes well.
There were other games in the Serie, so it wasn't just Juventus and Empoli, as well as other results, especially from Germany, where Wolfsburg lost at home to Werder Bremen. That was match live yesterday. And FC Bayern Munich spelling Hamburg 8-0. That game ended at the Allianz Arena, and Hertha Berlin 2-0 win over Eintracht Frankfurt. And of course, the match we just showed you, Juventus 2-0 winners over Empoli. Tomorrow, Super Sunday, Schalke, traditional big team, taking on Hoffenheim. That will come your way 5:30 p.m. and Internazionale taking on Roma at the San Siro 8:45 p.m. I mean, you should be getting ready for that game. Are you going to be having any colors on?
Janine, what do you enjoy when Bayern defeat teams 8-0, 5-1? What do you really enjoy?
No, I don't enjoy anything.
5-1, you defeated Arsenal. 5-1, 8-0. What? That's no more a team.
But the record was there. Tolu did mention at some point they defeated them by 9-2. What's the difference between 9-2 and 8-0? Because there's nil.
It's crazy. It's crazy. That's no more football. That's just like baseball. That's only one team came. No. Please.
Well,
but tomorrow, definitely,
yeah.
we will see a closer competition between Schalke and Hoffenheim. I expect Hoffenheim fourth position to try to get into Champions League position or cement their places in there, try to get into top 3 places. Bayern, Leipzig, and Dortmund are almost running away from it. Hoffenheim have to keep in touch. And then in Italy tomorrow, second versus fourth, Inter versus Roma. It is Mauro Icardi for Inter, and then Roma Edin Dzeko, 19 goals for Dzeko. Icardi, I think, has 15. So I'll be watching with bated breath.
You know, I feel all the more pain for Gonzalo Higuain. He should have just scored some goals. Because if Edin Dzeko does get on the score sheet, he's not going to be miles ahead in the Europa League. He's also going to be the top goal scorer. What has really changed for Dzeko? Is it like pizza in Italy? Is there something different about what he's doing this season?
Dzeko has changed the environment. Left when Man City became very hot for him and moved to Italy, and he's enjoying football all over again. He's the focal point, he's the anchor man for Roma, and he's scoring all the goals. He's on 19, as you mentioned. If he scores, he'll be the first man this season to reach 20. Higuain missed his opportunity today, although both are on 19. And tomorrow will offer a perfect platform for him.
And because we offer the very best of German and Italian football, now we have the two proponents of this football. You have Bayern Munich and you have Juventus. They're looking at the Champions League now and saying, on the evidence of what we've seen so far, very, very huge stakes, really.
Very, very huge stake. I mean, for some teams in Europe, the minimum is a semi-final berth in Champions League. And we're talking about Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Juventus, at Barcelona, you know, before the Valentine Day massacre by PSG. So,
I mean, if it's a Bayern Juventus, where do you see? Because, I mean...
But teams don't even have any known weaknesses, so to speak. They destroy teams easily. I would love to see a game Bayern Munich Juventus at the end of the day. So I see, of course, Bayern has destroyed Arsenal already, and Porto almost dead and buried by the time they come to Turin. So it looks like both teams have already progressed into the quarterfinals of the Champions League anyway. So we can only wait. And
on the evidence of this display and what they've been getting with this so-called new change of formation from 4-4-2, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the 3-5-2 that Antonio Conte is using now at Chelsea, or you prefer this new look 4-2-3-1 with Gonzalo Higuain getting the goals?
You see that 3-5-2, it can be very boring. 3 defenders and then wing backs, and you set up defensively. It doesn't allow creativity. But 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1 allows the likes of Khedira, Pjanic, Dybala to thrive going forward. But when you tell them, you have to be defensively conscious, you have to do defensive duties like Victor Moses or Alonso for Chelsea, as you mentioned, Conte, it restricts. So they just look for one goal and then close up shop. It restricts your attacking options, in my own opinion. So for me, a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2.
And for Gonzalo Higuain, who made that huge summer move from Napoli to Juventus, could this be the year for him where he will finally get to lift the Serie? I mean, will that be?
Gonzalo Higuain, I don't know what the challenge is with him. In Argentina, he misses goals. They could have won the World Cup or the other trophy with Messi.
Okay.
He didn't, but hopefully he may get to do it this season.
Well, it's good being here with you. Join us again tomorrow as we'll be giving you the very best of the Bundesliga and the Serie. My name is Janine Anthony. I've been with Larrie Penniel. Have a great night, people.
The life and the concert, the party and the concert, the music and the concert, and the crowd that sings, 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 and the crowd that sings.
Lega Serie A has presented Serie A Tim. Lega Serie A has presented Serie A Tim.